After 5 straight weeks of viewership drops on Raw, the WWF will attempt to stop the slide tonight, coming 6 days from the Judgment Day pay-per-view, kicking off with Steve Austin and Triple H coming out to hype the 2 top singles matches at the event against Taker and Kane, with Hunter challenging Kane to make their match on Sunday a chain match for the IC title, followed by Austin hyping the pay-per-view main event against Taker to bring him out, accepting Hunter's challenge, with Kane running in from the crowd to start a 4-way brawl, with Raw kicking off with a 3.9 quarter. Not a good sign for any rebound coming tonight, with a 3.9 opening quarter, the lowest in months and the lowest unopposed start in the regular time slot in years. Raw picked up over 600,000 viewers to a 4.3 rating for the finish of the 17-minute opening segment, followed by Kurt Angle vs Rikishi going 3 minutes in the second quarter, while starting a show-long angle with Austin setting Taker up by calling cops to the building to tell him that his wife was involved in a car accident, ending up with Taker running out of the building midway through the hour in his last appearance on the night to make the originally planned Austin and Hunter vs Taker and Kane match for the tag titles in the main event tonight, a handicap match. With no news on the WCW relaunch after the debut date was delayed again, with Jim Ross realizing the workload needed to put together the new brand along with no agreement reached yet with TNN for the new show, Vince McMahon now will perhaps have more time to shift his full focus to the WCW launch after the announcement in a press conference last Thursday that the XFL will not continue to a second season, with Vince after tens of millions in losses to start up the league, and major network partners NBC and UPN backing out of airing the second season after disappointing numbers, making the decision to cut further losses and shut down the roller coaster ride of the league, which started out with McMahon on top of the sports and entertainment worlds with a huge rating for his debut broadcast before sharply dropping weekly to record low levels, with Vince saying that initial mistakes were made during the launch of the league as they needed more time to prepare for it before the massive hype for the blockbuster debut show that they could not follow up on for the rest of the season, with the WWF now having an almost identical scenario with the launch of WCW to correct the mistakes and not rush an unprepared product to debut on television to big first-week numbers with no ability to change the perception from that point forward. As JR updated on Friday that the WCW start is targeted within the next 2 months, including the company changing its July 22 pay-per-view name from Fully Loaded to Invasion, with both TNN and the WWF realizing that one of the key factors for the success of the brand would be signing the major WCW headliners, with the company still trying to get deals done, with the 4 most realistic targets to be signed for the debut night being Scott Hall, Scott Steiner, Booker and Page. After working singles matches against each other on SmackDown, with Benoit against Edge and Jericho against Christian, Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho vs Edge and Christian was booked on Raw, being placed to open Raw's second hour in a match going 7 minutes, ending up with Jericho and Benoit now set for a major push as babyfaces going over, followed by a post-match segment with Kurt Angle running in to take back his medals, with Benoit revealing that the real ones are still with him to put them on the line in their 3 Falls pay-per-view match, as the match, despite being placed in the second highest profile segment of the night, saw a rare viewing pattern, with Raw instead of getting the usual 10 p.m. quarter boost dropping to a 4.4 rating to start the hour. Still at the top of the hour quarter following the tag match, Raw had an injury angle with Edge and Christian taking out Jericho backstage, followed by Regal coming out to book himself against the now babyface Rikishi on the pay-per-view, with the highest rated full quarter of the night coming between 10:30 to 45 with Chyna and Lita teaming up against Ivory and Molly in the build to their singles match on the pay-per-view Sunday, doing a 4.7 rating in what also ended up being Chyna's final Raw appearance, with her in the middle of a management and contractual dispute with the company over a new deal. With the company seeing a clear steady drop in Raw viewership over the past 6 weeks with a consistent weekly decline, things were less clear on the SmackDown side, with the yo-yo pattern of the past 5 weeks continuing last Thursday with a show which was built around another Undertaker vs Austin show long angle after popping numbers back up the previous week, again dropping to near record low levels with a 3.7 rating with 5.9 million viewers, making it 3 out of the last 5 weeks that the show is averaging 5.8 million viewers, while the other weeks in between them doing over 6.6 million viewers, in an unexplainable pattern, with perhaps the reasoning behind it being that what were once weekly viewers are now picking and choosing what specific week to watch, which causes the unusual trend, while on Raw what just a few weeks ago looked like a reversible pattern with perhaps the leftover WCW viewers tuning in and out. This Monday signaled a potential dangerous free fall in interest, with the panic from the WCW collapse of just a few years ago still fresh in mind, with Raw dropping in viewership for the 6th week in a row in a pattern that Nitro, even going against the peaking Raw, didn't experience at any point in show history, averaging 5.3 million viewers overall, to the least watched regularly scheduled Raw show in years, with even the recent Christmas and New Year's Eve episodes significantly outdrawing it just a few months back, to signal on the worrying indication of not only the 2.5 to 3 million regular WCW viewers not tuning in to boost the show, but regular WWF viewers now tuning out by the week, with the show dropping over 2 million viewers from April 2nd over the last 7 weeks of steady decline, causing a major reason for concern, with several possibilities of trying to reverse the downward trend either by changing direction in the main storylines or hot-shotting major returns angles or matches in the next several weeks in hopes of catching the lost audience's attention back, as the Austin and Triple H vs Kane main event saw the match starting already past 11 p.m. to jump 500,000 viewers to the peak rating of a 4.8 rating in the 7-minute overrun, slightly above last week's 18-month low for the Austin-Rikishi match, closing the show down to a 4.5 overall rating, with Austin and Hunter getting heat on Kane, with Taker not making the return in time for the save in the build to the pay-per-view in 6 days, with next Monday set to be a crucial show for the immediate state of the product to see if the company can stop the decline with the usual post-pay-per-view interest boost, along with starting new top programs with the payoff of the Austin and Hunter vs Taker and Kane feud set for Sunday.